All right. Let's be real for a second. If you've been playing World of Warcraft for a while, you've probably had that moment. You know the one. You log in, you stare at your character for a while, and you think, man, I've done all this before. And hey, WoW's a classic. It's been around forever for a reason. But if you're starting to feel that burnout, or like every expansion just resets the same grind with like a new coat of paint, you're not alone. A ton of players have been feeling the same way, myself included. And that's exactly what led me to check out Guild Wars 2. And I gotta say, I didn't expect it to hit as hard as it did. It's different, but in all the right ways. There's no sub fees, no constant grind, no gear treadmill. It's just content, it's world building, and it's freedom. So in this video, I want to break it all down. What's different about Guild Wars 2? What's better? What might throw you off at first? And why, if you're a WoW vet looking for a fresh start in 2025, this might be exactly what you've been missing. So let's get into it. So let's start with something that hits you right away when you first play Guild Wars 2, the combat. And yeah, it is different from WoW, like really different. In World of Warcraft, combat's very tab target, cooldown heavy, and you're mostly playing it in one spot casting your abilities. Don't get me wrong, there is a rhythm to it and it can be satisfying, but after a while it starts to feel like you're just playing a rotation simulator. Guild Wars 2 throws that completely out of the window. Combat here is all about movement, timing, and reaction. You dodge roll through enemy attacks. You actually aim your projectiles. You react to telegraphed abilities instead of just soaking damage and waiting for a healer. It honestly feels way more active. It's almost like an action RPG blended with MMO mechanics. And the skill system is super clean. You've got 5 weapon skills that change depending on the weapon you're using, and then you layer your utilities, healing, and an elite skill on top of that. It's streamlined, but it's still deep, especially when you start exploring elite specializations. It might feel weird at first if you're used to WoW's hotbar jungle, but give it some time and it starts to feel so much more engaging, especially in big group fights where positioning and movement actually matter. The bottom line is, if you've ever wished WoW's combat had a little more adrenaline, a little more challenge, or just a fresh feel, Guild Wars 2 delivers in a big way. Guild Wars 2 uses a hybrid action combat system. It's technically still tab targeting under the hood, but it also incorporates a soft targeting reticle and a free movement casting, which allows you to aim cone abilities, projectiles, and AoEs manually. You don't need to be locked onto a target to hit them. If your skill lands in the hitbox, it hits. And dodging is a core mechanic. Every character has an endurance bar, by default 2 dodges, which can be used at any time to perform a frame invulnerable dodge roll, which gives you immunity to damage for about 3/4 of a second. This isn't optional. Dodging is baked into how you avoid telegraphed boss mechanics, enemy attacks, and even PvP burst windows. And positioning matters. Many abilities are directional, ground targeted, or proximity based. You'll see red circles for enemy attacks and have to manually move or dodge out of them. If you're not paying attention to the battlefield, you'll get punished. Then there's the weapon skill system, which is where Guild Wars 2 really breaks away from WoW. Instead of having 20 plus abilities on your hotbar from talents and level progression, Guild Wars 2 limits you to a 10 skill loadout at any given time. Your first 5 skills are determined by your equipped weapons, and the remaining 5 slots are for healing, utilities, and an elite skill, all chosen from your profession's pool. Each weapon type has its own dedicated skill set based on your profession. For example, A guardian using a greatsword gets access to a gap closing and AoE cleave skill, while that same greatsword would function completely differently if used by a warrior or a revenant class. Dual wielding unlocks different combinations depending on the main and offhand weapons. It's an interlocking system. Then there's trait lines and elite specializations. Traits allow you to passively modify your skills, while elite specs introduce entirely new mechanics, weapon options, and sometimes a unique resource. Think of these like WoW's class talent trees or like their spec changes, but with a more mechanical impact. Combos are also a big part of combat. Skills can create combo fields like fire, ice, or poison, and other skills act as finishers, such as leaps, blast, or whirls. When used together, they create extra effects. For example, leaping through a fire field might apply burning, and this encourages team synergy and skill layering in group play. Support roles do exist, but there's no trinity here. Guild Wars 2 encourages build diversity and hybridization. So instead of just having designated healers or tanks, you'll have boons, healing, and crowd control mechanics that also contribute damage. Tanks are defined by toughness aggro, not by a role selection. Anybody can tank in this game. And this creates a fluid but deep group dynamic that's less about composition checklist and it's more about execution. And yes, active mitigation versus passive mitigation. Unlike WoW, where tank mitigation is based on armor, dodge chance, and cooldowns, Guild Wars 2 puts the burden of survival largely on the player's reaction time and movement. You dodge, you reposition, you kite. If you stand in the bad stuff, you're going to go down. It's that simple. So if you're used to traditional MMO combat systems where most of the success comes from memorizing a rotation and just watching timers, Guild Wars 2 forces you to rewire your brain. It's a lot more reactive. It's more hands-on. And for many players, especially those who enjoy PvP or fast-paced dungeons, it's a massive upgrade versus World of Warcraft. Now that's going to close out our Guild Wars 2 combat comparison video for today. If you want an even more in-depth video detailing the different mechanics between WoW and Guild Wars 2, comment down below. Also let me know which game you think has better combat. I'll be coming out with the second part of this series soon, which will go over how progression works in Guild Wars 2. For now, hit like if you haven't already, subscribe for new content notifications, and follow me over on Twitch for weekly gaming streams. See y'all soon.